All right, let's talk about Lamar Jackson. And this is kind of the year of the underwhelming elite quarterback performances, right? Because it feels like, well, I think Mahomes has played well, but his team keeps losing. Josh Allen's had his up and down season. Lamar Jackson's had his up and downs. All these guys have had great games, of course, too, because they are elite quarterbacks. And then, Burrow on the other end was hurt for a big chunk of the year. So, what's going on? Let's specifically talk about Lamar Jackson, though, obviously, and kind of what went wrong here for the Baltimore Ravens. I think one thing is, I think they needed more out of Zay Flowers in a game like this. He did have the long catch that was called back due to a penalty. Should have been a penalty, I'll let you be the judge. But ultimately, you have plays like this. This is a zone coverage concept. Watch what happened. Lamar Jackson is going to take the snap. Doesn't love what he sees right away. That was another issue, which we'll talk about. But here, he does at least have an opportunity to get outside the pocket as the Bengals do not contain him well. And if you don't contain him well, he's going to make you pay, right? Watch him scramble outside the pocket, gets to this spot, finds Zay Flowers, and a defensive back who's trying to make a play on the ball right here can't make a play on the ball because his back is turned towards the receiver. So, he essentially just sees Zay Flowers is going to go up towards the ball and is just going to try and tackle Flowers right when the ball gets there. Flowers tries to make the play, can't quite make the grab right there. Again, that would have been a tough catch. So I'm not blaming him for not making that one, but I just think they needed him to make some of these plays, and that didn't happen here. This play, another kind of key example where this is, still a ball game at this point. As tough as it feels right now if you're a Ravens fan, down 15 in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's, you score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, just a 7-point game with plenty of time left. Facing a 3rd down and 8, though, and the Bengals are gonna blitz, and this is what kind of Zay Flowers has taken teams out of schematically. Of usually teams would try and do this all-out blitz. Once Zay Flowers got here, it feels like they just don't really do that as much anymore because Flowers can burn you. Watch as when Lamar Jackson takes the snap, he looks over Flowers' direction, and I don't even know if this is Flowers' fault or if this is Lamar Jackson's fault because there really isn't much separation. Flowers is kind of giving up on this route at this point. I think it's just because the ball is over his head. Watch, I mean, that's nowhere close. So again, it looks to me like Lamar thought Flowers was going to run a deep shot, and instead Flowers kind of cut more over the middle, which you got to be on the same page. And again, I'm not saying Flowers, has one bad game. It is what it is. He also had to fumble. You don't want that. But ultimately, for these guys to make the playoffs, Lamar and Flowers have to connect, right? They have to make these plays. And if they don't, well, then it's going to be an issue. Heading over here, I mean, this is obviously the story of the game. And some people will simply just say, we know what went wrong, right? They turned the ball over 5 times. You had the Zay Flowers fumble, another fumble that we'll talk about here in a couple of plays. And then Lamar Jackson had 2 fumbles and an interception on his own. Turnovers can't happen. This play, 3rd down and 9. Again, you see the Bengals showing us that they're going to send in all-out pressure. Although, when the play begins, they actually drop back. So, for Lamar Jackson, doesn't love what he sees down the field. But, again, since they drop back into coverage and this blitz was picked up, he can now try and scramble out and make something happen. So, he tries that, but he kind of just doesn't see Osai right behind him and also only had one hand on the football. And that's something I think is fair to be critical of Lamar about, is when you're running, get your second hand on the football or tuck it, right? One of the two. You want to have that ball protected. Ultimately, he did not, and because of that, it's now in the other team's hands. And, fortunately for the Ravens, the Bengals didn't capitalize on it. They went for it on 4th down, didn't convert, so it was kind of no harm, no foul. But still, that's a mistake you don't want to have happen. And, there was the other play where a ball just slipped out of his hands when he was trying to throw it. It got ruled a fumble. Again, whether you like that call or not, that was the call, and it was a mistake. Also heading over here to this one. So this is going to be a play-action play right here. And, again, game situation matters on this one. So you see it's a 12-point game early on in the fourth quarter. Real chance to, a real chance to win the game. Really, even if you don't convert here, you at least have a chance on, getting an extra 3 points. You're down 9, which still makes it a 2-score game, but that's at least something. Obviously, though, you want to convert, and to be honest, this play's going to work. Watch, play action brings players in. You have Mark Andrews, who appears to be open over the middle right here. It's going to be a bit of a tough play, so, it's not ideal, but ultimately, again, in this situation, kind of got to force the issue. Unfortunately, watch as this pass is just tipped, and because of that, it ends up, all those linebackers that were brought in on the play action to end up being in perfect position. It's an interception, and, that gives the Cincinnati Bengals the ball back. Again, the Ravens defense came on strong in the fourth quarter to give them a chance, but they just couldn't convert on those. So those aren't ideal. Those are also plays, though, if you're a Ravens fan, you're like, okay, that was bad. That's not repeatable. We're not going to turn the ball over 5 times every game, right? And that is absolutely true. Here's the other issue, though, and this just kind of happened this season. So, like, this play, you see that it's going to be a one-on-one matchup here on the outside right here on a 1st down and 10, relatively early on in the game. Lamar Jackson takes a snap. Rashad Bateman takes a while to finish this route, but once he does, you see right here, Lamar Jackson's in the throwing motion. This has an opportunity to get open. It really does. However, this throw is just nowhere close. I mean, that's not even giving your receiver a chance right there. Again, I'm not saying you have to make it pinpoint accuracy every time, but like that's just way off. And he was just a bit off. I mean, I guess that's the best way to say it. It just wasn't quite hitting all of these. This one, you're going to see that this is a, just a screen pass. That one was short. There were a few other ones. Like, these just can't happen. I mean, again, first one, you have to give your receiver a chance. This one, you have to hit a screen pass, right? So, some uncharacteristic misses from Lamar Jackson. That was a factor as well. And then, of course, this play. So you see it's a zone coverage concept. And at the beginning of this play, you're going to see something that just happened way too much in this game, especially against the secondary, that it kind of really struggled for the past, really, 2 seasons now. Lamar Jackson takes the snap, and it's not struggling on this play. And give them credit. They've been playing better in the coverage unit in recent weeks. But nonetheless, you still want to be able to get guys open consistently. However, the thing that Lamar Jackson can do as well as anybody is find a way to make a play work, watch him slide up in the pocket, get just enough time, keeps his eyes downfield, eventually hits Isaiah Likely, and as of right here, you're feeling pretty good about yourself if you're Isaiah Likely. I mean, you're, at least going to get 1st down and goal. Of course, he wants the touchdown here. As you see, he kind of, trying to get over a defender, ends up losing the football when he takes one hand off of it, getting over that defender. Ultimately, give credit to Jordan Battle for, living up to his name and battling through that play after getting beat and knocking the ball loose. But again, I mean, you think about how different this game is if you just convert that play. That makes it a 7-point game. Then instead of down 2 scores late, you're down 1 score late. The whole game is different, right? The whole game is different if you can convert right here. So, yeah, I mean, you still see the positives, but for the Ravens, I mean, it's kind of always been their big game issues is turnovers, and here they're turning the ball over again, and it's just been a few weeks in a row now where they just haven't looked as sharp. Ultimately, it still all is right in front of them, right? Because, this upcoming game is going to be against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They also play the Steelers on the last game of the season. So you still have both Steelers games. You still have a Bengals game. But then it's the Patriots and the Packers, right? So there is no easy win that is still on the roster at this point, still on the schedule at this point. It is 5 games that are going to have to be dogfights, and they kind of let one slip through the fingers here. Bengals made plays. I'm not saying the Ravens had it and lost it, but they kind of blew it, I guess I would say. So we're gonna have to really make sure they're ready against Pittsburgh. That's a big game. So yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.